This week we feature Chicago-based singer-songwriter HEAZZA. She's influenced by electropop, downtempo, and neo-soul genres. And then she tells me exactly what the hell that all means. After having 9-to-5 jobs, one event flipped the switch in her to pursue her art. She even went so far as to apply for and be awarded a grant from the city of Chicago to create her debut EP, which is out now. Pick it up on all platforms or go to HEAZZAofficial.com. Follow her on social media. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PerformanceANX. Our merchandise is at performanceanx.threadless.com. Subscribe, rate, review, and enjoy the show with HEAZZA.
I'm going to do one more. One more.
Okay.
Take 8. Hey, this is HEAZZA. I am a local indie artist out of the city of Chicago. I have the pleasure to be on Performance Anxiety tonight with Mark. Thank you so much for having me, Mark. It was so funny to me. It's so weird, but I was on this call the other day, and it was a call. It was abnormal, and there was this guy burping in the background. It was a Skype call. And there was one point where it was distorted like that, but it elongated like a belt, like a very. It was so funny. I thought about it for like an hour afterward, and I was just like sitting by myself and laughing.
That's awesome. You know, the worst part about that is they'll probably edit that out of whatever post they make of that. I'd leave that in. That's the way my show goes.
It would be so funny. It would be so funny.
I leave stupid crap like that in all the time. Thank you again so much for coming on. I've been listening to the EP, and I love it. It's really nice. It's I don't even know how to describe it. It's the way you describe it is that it's influenced by electropop, downtempo, and neo-soul genres. You bring unique songwriting that forges modern soundscapes and neo-romantic indie rock. That sounds awesome, but I have no idea what in the hell downtempo and neo-soul are. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Maybe give me an example of somebody I can reference?
Sure. I mean, so neo just means new.
Right.
And it's a cool way of saying that it definitely has an indie independent vibe. So I write the music I produce it, and I produce it also with B Forest and Noam Wallenberg sat in also on some of those production takes. And we so I guess I have sort of this dark vibe, but it's also poppy, and it also has like this 808 sort of pull for people. So it's a mix of this like soulful, traditional sort of soulful vibe, and it kind of has this pop progression to it still. Okay. But it's definitely a little bit darker. You know, you could think of High as a Kite or Lord or Lana Del Rey when you listen to my music.
Okay. Yeah, now that you're mentioning some of these people, because I was listening to it and I'm like, the vocals remind me of somebody, and I couldn't exactly pinpoint who it was. And I think now that you mentioned some of those artists, I think that's who I was thinking, like Lord. I think that's kind of maybe who I was thinking of. Yeah. But
sometimes I get London Grammar too. So there's just kind of, it could be, I'm like, oh, great. Thank you for, complimenting me for all these amazingly talented artists.
But it's not a copycat at all. It's just, little bits like a word or a phrase or something here and there. So it's not, and I guess maybe that's why I was having a little bit of trouble trying to figure out who it reminded me of, because it's not, it's influenced by some people, but not, pulled directly from people.
Right. So. Right. And I mean, when I sit down and I think about it too, sometimes I ask people what their thought is,
Yeah.
even just to, because it is a little bit unique, and the sound can be, I don't know. Would you say it's not abstract, because it's not.
No. I'd say
lyrically maybe a little, but
maybe. To me, it sounds like the words, the lyrics are more part of the sound, because the pronunciations of some words are a little different. The way and I think maybe that's part of what reminds me of somebody. And I've been thinking about it for literally days, and I still cannot think of who it is. I've asked my wife. We've sat down and listened to the EP, and we're both like, this is just, it's who is this reminding me of? And neither of us can think of it.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's me. Maybe it's HEAZZA. Maybe I think that's great. Yeah.
Well, it'll always be you now, so it doesn't matter. Next time we hear something similar, I'm like, that sounds like HEAZZA.
Right.
Yeah. Did you grow up in the Chicago area?
I actually grew up in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
So I am from a small suburb called Kentwood, and I had 4 brothers and a sister and a dog and 2 cats and the whole 9 yards. It was a pretty crazy house, a messy house.
Oh, I know that.
It was the neighbor house.
We've got 3 kids and a dog, and my house is a disaster constantly. My wife's not in here, so I can say that. So. Yeah,
we always had like the car in the driveway, and some neighbor would call the city because it'd been broken down for too long. They'd be like, "It's just an eyesore."
We haven't gotten to that point yet, but 2 of my kids just got their driving permits, so we're headed there pretty soon. My son is like, he's dying to get a car that he can fix up and work on, so we're gonna be there pretty soon.
Well, good luck with the fixing up.
Yeah,
those are.
So when did you start playing or singing? And did you start by playing any instruments, or was singing always what you wanted to get into?
My mom always said I sang coming out of the womb. I've always been a singer. Naturally, that's always what I was drawn to, but I have loved playing instruments too. I grew up playing clarinet.
Oh, wow.
And then I decided marching band wasn't for me, so...
Oh, we're going through that right now with my kids. All 3 of them are in marching band.
Right. I was quit, and then I did choir, and I was in musicals, and I got into a lot of community theater, doing musicals that way, and I started getting serious probably my sophomore year of high school. I started singing classically.
Oh, okay.
And then chickened out, dropped I got into 2 different programs for music performance. And then I was like, I can't do this. I can't be poor my whole life.
Oh. Oh no. So what did you do?
I just, started going to school, didn't know what my major would be. I went and studied abroad, stayed there for way too long, came back.
So you figured you're just going to do a regular 9 to 5 at that point?
I did. Yeah,
wow.
I did. I was like, I lived in Germany for almost 2 years in college.
Oh, wow.
I just loved living abroad. And then I decided, I basically had a degree just by accident because I didn't know what I was. I wasn't declared. I was just over there.
Oh, wow.
Excuse to say. So I just would study I don't know, myths and legends, but in, learning in German. So it's like,
wow. So
I got out and I started working in 9 to 5, and I was just like, I can't. I need music in my life.
Yeah.
So here we are.
And were you performing? When did you? Okay, first of all, when did you start performing live? Was it as a kid or before you got into the theater stuff in school?
Yeah, I mean, this is so funny. I thought about this moment, and I think it was a key moment to get back into music because I thought, what's missing, you know? And then I remembered this time in fourth grade when I brought Can You Feel the Love Tonight to my music class.
Wow.
Just the check. I brought the check. And I planned it. And I sang it for my class, like over the check.
Oh my God. So this wasn't like you just brought it into school.
Wow.
This wasn't like a talent competition or anything?
No, I was just like, hey, I'd like to sing this song for the class.
Wow.
And my teacher was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, go for it. Oh my gosh.
Memorized the song, had it down, like practiced in my bedroom the whole night before.
So you were like fearless in fourth grade.
I was like, man, that was a confident HEAZZA.
Yeah.
I need that. That was, like, and then when I started doing it later, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is not like, definitely have nerves now.
A little different than fourth grade. What is it about being that young? You don't care.
I don't know. It's just like, it was like part of me. No puberty. You don't have like all that, the rush of hormones going through you. It changes things.
Maybe that's where all the anxiety starts to build, is at that point. And then before that, you're like, you don't even care. You have no anxiety about anything.
Yeah, it's like black and white. You're like, I love singing.
Is. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Let's do it. I'm going to do it in front of everybody. Let's do it. And then puberty hits and leave me alone. I don't want to do anything in front of anybody.
Right. Oh. Right. So
then you went to school, and you're in theater while you're in school. Now, did you keep that up in college at all?
I did. Yeah. I did not do any theater in my program, but like I did the civic theater and I got like small lead roles, supporting roles. I was in Oliver, and I was in like a couple other small like one-off pieces. And they were nice. They were fun. We would run 21 shows, and it was like a whole thing. I would have like people from my German class show up.
Oh, cool.
And honestly, I think I took German because I loved you. It was like you had to use your throat still, so you could make all these fun sounds.
Right. And
you could still manipulate your voice. And so that's like what really drew me to studying that language.
Okay. I like it just because you sound like you could do Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, I was going to do classical music, and German's a really hard language to sing in.
Oh, I can. Holy crap. I didn't think of that.
So, but it's like when you're good at it, you're like the best. So, I thought, that'd be a great language because you have to minor, but then, like I said, I chickened out, but I still had all these German classes to take, and it just ended up being my favorite thing. So,
and so
at the time,
so then you go into the 9-to-5 world, and you decide that that's not for you. What were you doing to get back into music and singing at that point?
So this is going to sound terrible.
That's what this show. I love terrible stories.
Okay, so it's my sister's birthday party. I've been thinking about music. Things just keep coming back. And I'm like, I should do it. I should do it. And this girl at the party just starts singing. Like, she's like, she just is like, thinks she's like, she cats me out. Yeah. Right. And, I love that. I love that. Right. But I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, no, stop.
Now you sound like you're in fourth grade.
And then, but that was like, that should be me singing in front of all these people at this party. And even if it was like, for friends, for fun.
Right.
And so I started singing. Actually, somebody called me. I was like 2 weeks not working. And they were like, hey, you want to do like a worship weekend at this church? And I was like, yeah. Because it was practice every day for like half days.
Oh, cool.
And so I started doing that. And then I met a guy who was studying jazz guitar, Aaron Day, who's a local guitarist. And he started teaching me piano.
Oh, wow.
Even though he was the guitarist.
All right.
And then I just started doing all these hangs locally and just like putting myself out there, meeting people all the time. And that's how I kind of met my producer, B Forrest.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, I have all these songs I've been writing. I need to do this album. Let's work together. And that was history. So now I have the album, but he's sort of my cohort. And there's my full band is Ruben Garza on drums. He's amazing. All jazz players here.
Yeah.
Josh Griffin on bass, and B Forrest, he does guitar and synth lines. And then I'm on vocals, so it's a great little combo we've got going on.
It is, and I can definitely hear theater influence in the music. I can definitely hear your theater background in your singing and some of this composition and all.
From closing doors and crashing hearts, this love of ours, it can't be tamed, it can't be murdered.
How long, I guess, when did you start writing music? Were you writing it as a kid?
I never really wrote music. No, that was just something that I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to sing and I want to write my own music. That's the way I want to perform. When I thought about getting back into music, that was the only thing I thought about. Okay. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to do theater again, or I want to go back and like start singing classically, because I was way past my prime at that point.
Oh, wow, okay.
And for
that type
there's
of thing.
There's so many amazing singers out there. So I just was like, I want to do music forever. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do that by, writing my own songs and being able to, do solo sets by myself and write and then work with a band. And so
you can't really do that with classical.
That was it.
You can't really just go to book yourself into a club and start singing Wagner or
also,
whatever.
Nobody wants nobody wants to hear that. They want to go out and have fun and be entertained, or like maybe I don't know if I'm an entertainer, but I might not I'm not like a let's like dance your pants off on stage like
right.
sort of artist.
You're more like oh, and I'll bring this up because I saw some amazing videos that my wife and I actually really enjoyed. Etta James.
Well, yeah.
So I was watching those videos and listening to that. That was so good. I really, really enjoyed those songs.
Thank you so much. Yeah, she's one of my favorite artists of all time, like hands down. Such an amazing voice,
oh, yeah.
So powerful, so unique, and just, she owned every minute when she was singing and performing. Like I loved her, yeah. And I love her, and I love doing that show. So.
Well, At Last was one of the songs that my wife had to have at our wedding. And so that's when I told her I was going to be speaking with you, we went and started looking up some videos on YouTube, and that's the first one she picked, and that's the first thing she heard, and she said, I love it. I love it. So. So
Yeah.
you did an amazing job with the songs, and you won a fan with my wife by doing it. So
Yay! Well, thank you so much. That's so nice of her and you to say.
oh god,
Yeah.
Now, how did that come about? Because you did it looked like four Etta James tracks that night?
Yeah. So I actually did 5.
Okay.
And then I had a couple other people sit in and do some tracks too.
Oh, okay.
So it was a collaborative effort. I'd been going to the Fulton Street Collective here. It's a venue in Chicago that's pretty cool. And there happened to be this tribute show by Sam Trump, who's a pretty well-known guitarist and vocalist in the city. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do a show like this here. This is so cool. So I went up to the person who put the show on, and she's like, yeah, let's work together.
Awesome.
Send me who you want to do. We'll get lunch. And we talked about it, and it was a done deal.
Wow.
That was so much fun. Yeah, I love doing that.
That looked like quite a pretty big production. That was beautifully done.
Yeah, I mean, I had help. There were 14 musicians on the set besides myself. So we had a full orchestra, or I guess a quartet, and 3 other singers, guitarist, drummer, keys. It was so much fun. Yeah.
And that was just you saying, I want to do this. And it happened.
Yeah. That was definitely, as a solo artist, HEAZZA, that is definitely the biggest like big band show that I've done. Normally it's like four people plus myself.
Yeah. Okay.
I do solo sets occasionally too, but 14-piece band is pretty big for me.
Big. That's pretty big for a lot of people. And right. I also saw an awesome cover you did of Creep by Radiohead.
But I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't care if it hurts.
That was really cool.
Oh, thank you. I'm a huge Radiohead fan. You know what? I feel like maybe I jive with them too. Just because they kind of can have a darker sort of melancholic feel.
Oh yeah.
To some of their songs. And Creep, I can relate to. And so,
I can relate to Creep.
I had these like super beautiful friends growing up, and I swear to God, every guy I liked became my friend just so they could ask for those friends' numbers. Oh. And I was like, why? So I think I discovered that song in high school, and just like I've always loved it. So
it's one of my favorite Radiohead songs they've done in their entire career. It's still one of the best.
Oh yeah.
So you're a Radiohead fan. Let me ask you this. I'm not as big into the electronic music. So once they hit Kid A and Amnesiac, and all, they started to lose me a little bit. Mm-hmm. So do you have a favorite side, like the pre-electronic Radiohead, or do you like the post-electronic Radiohead?
I think there is... I'm going to say I have to go with pre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that they have such a cool, story, and they've evolved so much.
Oh God, yeah.
I like all their music really, and they never do the same set. Every night when they go tour, they never do the same set, which is always cool. So if you go to a show, you're just like, what am I going to hear, pre or post or both?
That's cool.
So I mean, they're great. I think I'd have to do pre just because that's Creep.
Yeah.
That was more when I discovered them. So
the Bends and OK Computer are just fantastic from start to finish. And anything after that, like even Kid A, I like half of it. Same with Amnesiac. And then after those, it's like I don't even think I've listened to the full. I tried to get into Hail to the Thief and In Rainbows and on. I just couldn't get through the whole thing in one sitting like I could OK Computer.
Yeah. I had a painter boyfriend who was really into them in college. So.
Yeah.
I was forced to sit through it.
Oh, gosh, man.
But, I forgot about that actually. So I think that I'm definitely pre.
Yeah, and I heard. Speaking of Radiohead covers, I heard a really weird version of Radiohead actually doing Rhinestone Cowboy. Have you ever heard that?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's so weird. I'll send
are you talking like a rhinestone cowboy?
Yes.
Oh.
I'll get your email. I'll see if I can find the track. I'll send it to you or post it on your Facebook page or something.
I want to cover the cover.
Oh, awesome! There you go. It's definitely Tom York singing. It's okay. I haven't heard it in a while, but yeah, it's just really weird.
Yeah. Well, I like weird.
Oh, well, yeah. Who doesn't? I mean, that time period had so many awesome, weird bands.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, now you won or you're awarded a grant to make the EP that you just made. Let's see, it was the individual artist grant from the city of Chicago. Can you tell me a little bit about what that is and how you found out about it? How do you apply for something like that? And what are the requirements once it's awarded to you? What do they want you to do?
So I was looking to hustle. I had just started working with DeForest and I was like, how am I going to make this album? I want it to be really good. So I started to look up ways, like free money for artists,
right.
And I was working downtown and it just happened to be, like the city of Chicago had a meeting like in the next couple days and it was right next to where I worked. So I signed up for the meeting and then they walked you through, the grant and it was all sorts of artists that could apply. I applied for a musical project and most people, I think, do a lot of like film or maybe they're trying to support a book or something that they're writing.
Okay.
But it took me like a week to write. I turned it in at like 11 p.m. when it was due at midnight. I asked them for a pretty almost. I think actually I asked for the full amount that they can award, and I got 90%.
Wow! And you wrote all the songs in a week?
Oh no, I wrote the grant.
Oh, okay. I was like, holy crap, that's amazing.
No, so I wrote the grant in about a week, and then months went by, and it was torturous. And I found out I won, and I honestly freaked out because I just felt like so solidified as an artist.
Oh, I can imagine.
And I was just like, the city recognizes me. Like, thank you.
You've been blessed.
Yeah, I'm like, Rahm Emanuel. Yeah. Thank you, Mayor.
There you go.
I don't even like politics.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that was a really cool time.
So once you're awarded that, are there any requirements for it? Like it's got to be done in Chicago or anything like that? Like it's got to be produced and
Yeah. So there are so many requirements. You basically have to have a really, really thorough plan for your project. I sent in all my demos that I wanted them to sample, and I had a friend help me with some art, and so I basically sent in this request, saying, I'd really like this because I'm going to have an EP and it's going to be 9 songs. And this is phase 1 of the project. And so at the end of the year, they require you to just come back to them and say, hey, did you use everybody that was in Chicago? Who'd you use? And how'd you use the funds? And I put them all towards my record. So it was great. And I didn't have a problem. Everybody's local. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. Using all Chicago artists, recording it in Chicago. So that's sounds like you did exactly what they were hoping.
Yeah, it was recorded. I recorded the piano actually at Transient Sound, and then I recorded the rest of the album at Rax Tracks in Chicago. And we went with Transient for the piano because we wanted a grand piano sound.
Oh, okay.
And they had a big, nice grand there. So Cole DeGenova, he's the keys player that I normally work with, and he's the best. He's played at Berkeley and just like,
oh wow,
he's incredible.
Oh my God,
incredible.
Well, the production value is fantastic. I'm listening to it, like I said, for the past few days, and I've just been really, really enjoying it. So I noticed a couple things in a few songs. There's a reoccurring theme of scars and crashing doors. Is that intentional, or is that just something that just found its way in?
I think this album was kind of like a healing sort of thing for me, but all my songs are based on experiences that either I have experienced or somebody pretty close to me, and it's about them. Okay. So I think it is intentional. Yeah, I think it was like a healing process. It was therapeutic. I was coming out of this corporate world and trying to pursue music again, and so like there was this balance of also like becoming an adult in a way.
I can see that. I
growing up.
I'm still waiting for that to happen to me, and I got 3 kids, so God bless those 3. Man,
I hope it never happens, to be honest.
Well, if it was, I would be doing this.
Right. Yeah, I have actually I went today. I probably looked like a total weirdo, but I just went to the park and I swang on the swings for 5 minutes.
Hey, that's something like my wife would do. So, and we have kids, so.
It's awesome.
It's great.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to be a kid, but
you got to enjoy life.
There's also growing up.
Yeah, you got to be responsible, but you can still enjoy, some of the things you did as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, what's the point of working if you can't enjoy doing stuff that you've always enjoyed?
Right. Right.
So, now, is there a plan to support this with any touring or and live shows? If you're going to keep it in the Chicago area, or you're going to go into different New York, maybe DC?
Yeah, so I am going to hopefully be touring in the fall.
Cool.
It'll be after the actual album is released. So the album drop date is on October 4th, and also yet to be. I don't have a release date yet, but okay. I am also dropping a music video for the song Occupied just before that too.
Oh, that's one of my favorite. I absolutely love those.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm just going to drop it on the album day, release day, or a couple weeks before, but I'm working with a couple people to see how we're figuring that out. And then...
Yeah, I imagine that can be tricky.
It is. You have to really think about your campaign and all the really boring stuff about music.
All the marketing 9 to 5 things that 9 to 5 people do.
But I would love to tour, and we're actually hoping to tour and do a small tour in Europe.
Oh, cool.
And obviously through Germany, Berlin for a little bit. I lived in Hamburg. So definitely hitting up some of the larger cities there, and then Paris.
Ooh.
Maybe Norway. I'd love to go to Norway if we could make it to the capital there. And then, who knows? Maybe I'll do like a little thing in Tokyo too.
Oh, wow.
Some one-off show or something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So we're in the process of booking that now. So hopefully in the fall I'll have concrete dates.
Well, I'll have to keep an eye out, because if you come to the DC area, I'll definitely have to catch you.
Yay! I would love that.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I'll bring my camera, because I used to be a photographer. So I'll in fact, I'll shoot you a couple of examples after this, so you know I'm not full of garbage here.
I believe you.
I actually studied it in college. So.
Oh wow!
So
wow,
I've
cool.
had and kind of like you, it's something that I stopped doing for a while professionally, and then kind of got back into it over the past few years. Updated my set and have been getting back into it. And a lot of times, what's really cool is I'll have somebody on the show, and then they'll find out they're touring in this area, and we'll get in touch, and they'll say, "Come on out, let's get some pictures." And I'll usually trade them like a media pass, and then I'll send them a whole bunch of pictures afterwards. So,
yeah.
So I'm always interested in doing
cool.
that. So
That's so cool.
now, do you have plans to follow this up with a full-length album?
I would love to follow this up with a full-length album. Yeah. I mean, I don't have plans to release another album within the next year, but,
Right.
Possibly the next 2 years, releasing a second album, dropping it, full-length LP.
There you go.
And, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how this goes. I'm just trying to really, work it and hustle, and like any other musician out there who's trying to infiltrate the market, I guess.
Well, you've got validation now. You obviously got the talent, and you got a good head start with the EP coming out. The work you did with Chicago, working with Chicago to get. I can't imagine how much of a pain in the ass it had to be to actually work with government to get. The funding for this. It must have been such a pain in the ass. But
right.
You went. That seems to be like one of the harder ways to do things. I mean, and you made it work. So you got a good head start on it.
And I actually just got Artist of the Month from the Delhi as well. So.
Oh wow, that's awesome!
Yeah,
I did see your Facebook post about that. Unfortunately, I was when we set this up, I was just a few days too late. I would have voted for you, but
Man.
I did see it. So
I won though.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I really do appreciate it. I wanted to tell you that I've been listening to it. My favorite tracks are Stuck, Occupied, and Hazy Blue.
Standing sideways on your ledge, I saw a broken man cut in a hazy blue. Once we were so beautiful, now even you could see the wrong you done told me. Oh, for a friend, the highway ends. Oh, for my friend.
Those are awesome.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You did do that acoustic little teaser of stuff. That was really cool. Do you have acoustic versions of any of the other tracks?
I have an acoustic version of Winding Forwards.
Oh, cool. Okay. You did have a video of that one, right?
Yeah, I have a video of that one, me and Cole de Genova. Actually, when we recorded his tracks in the studio, we just decided to get somebody to film it too.
That's easy.
So that was like
easiest way to do it.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was fun.
That is so cool.
My favorite track is probably Winding Forward, just because I get to play melodica on stage.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you know what melodica is, but it's like this plastic piano and you blow into it.
That's like the Yeah, exactly. God,
It's very cheesy. It sounds kind of like an old French piano that you would see some old man playing
yeah.
on the corner, or like, winding this thing up
Yeah, it's like
to
a
make sound.
big kazoo with piano keys on it or something.
Yeah. So that's like my solo every show, and I totally love playing that solo.
That is awesome.
It's my highlight. It's my highlight. I'm like, all right, ready?
Are there videos of that? Because I have to look that up. You've got to post
I
some kind
didn't
of
know, not in that video, but definitely when the music video comes out, that is going to be in there.
That has to be, because I got to see that. That is so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I love them all too. Occupied is going to be the first one that drops. I wrote that song about mi madre, and got a music video to go with it too. So
that is
really excited about that. Yeah.
And so the album drops October 4th. Is there? How can people follow you on social media, online, and find out where they can buy the album, pre-order it?
You can pre-order my album. You can go to my website, HEAZZAofficial.com. You can go to my Instagram and send me a message, because I take personal messages.
What's the Instagram account?
It's HEAZZA Official.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can order it too from the label who's putting me out, Audible Paint, here locally in the city. My Facebook page, HEAZZA Official.
Awesome.
So yeah, there'll be a lot of places you can pre-order it. I've got T-shirts.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome. So you're welcome to follow me that way too. And I always keep everything up to date, and I'm very personal with my fans and the people who follow me, just because I think that I freak out when somebody comments and I'm following a musician and they like something I wrote, and I'm like, why wouldn't I do that too?
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. It's like, it's nice to have that sense, like, oh, this person's real, and they look at and value my input and stuff.
Exactly. And that's how I got started doing. Well, I've been doing a couple other sports podcasts for a couple of years, but I always wanted to do a show like this, and I finally got the courage to just. Well, we started getting some athletes on the show as guests, and I said, you know what? I'm huge into music. I love music. Let me reach out to a few of my favorite artists that might not be really well known. I might have a better shot at getting up with them. And that's how I started, just getting a few people that maybe weren't as well known, like a guy named Robert Roth, who's in a band called Truly from Seattle. Steve Turner from Mudhoney came on. I've just had some really cool people who are just really open and willing to do this, and who I respect.
HEAZZA's on your show.
And I can probably stop doing them now. I can just...
This is going to get 1 million likes.
That would be awesome. That you would definitely be the most downloaded, really awesome, liked show that I've got.
Yeah, I mean, I won't surprise. Right?
I wouldn't be either, because this has been a blast. I've really had a whole lot of fun talking with you. Thank you so much for spending, almost an hour with me at this point. It's been a ton of fun. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me on Performance Anxiety.
Oh, my pleasure. Oh, I lost you there. There we go.
Mark.
Yes.
I cannot believe this. My nephew, who's 3, just called me and broke up our... He cut off our interview. But yeah, I'm going to have to call him back, and he'll hang up on me again, because he just likes to call and hang up. Like, literally. He'll tell me, I hang up on you.
Okay. I love that kid. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
in the dark. Close your eyes, feel the night. Don't turn your head before it's light. Well,
Hey, this is HEAZZA, and I am super excited and honored to be on Performance Anxiety today. I've had the pleasure of just meeting Matt.
Mark.
Mark? Shoot, I'm so sorry.
I'm keeping that in, by the way.
I'm starting over now. Okay.
It was close.
the nerves.
It was
the nerves.
It was close. You got half the letters right.
Okay. All right. Hey, this is HEAZZA. I am a local indie artist out of the city of Chicago. I am to be on Performance Anxiety tonight, talking here with Mark. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Can I ask one more favor?
Yeah.
Can we do one more? The only reason I say it is because in the middle of it, the video started to buffer, and I lost your audio for a second. I'm sorry.
All right, one more time. No, it's cool. Hey, this is HEAZZA. I am sitting here talking with Mark. I'm sorry. It's so nerve-wracking.
You want me to like duck my head so you're not
No, it's performance. This is HEAZZA. I'm on Performance Anxiety. I'm just kidding.
That's awesome.
Hey, this is HEAZZA. I am on Performance Anxiety, sitting here with Mark. Thank you so much for having me, Mark. As you know, I am a local indie artist from the city of Chicago, and I am just happy to be anywhere tonight. Especially, no, stop. Okay.
This is
What
the
am I saying?
best. This is the best.
I'm just talking in circles now.
That's perfectly fine. We don't have to do any more if you don't want to.